Hey guys, welcome back to another stream. As Matisse always says, lateness is greatness, and I apologize for being late, but we were talking behind the stage or whatever you call it because Matisse was on freaking Sky Sports. I feel like I'm talking to a celebrity right now. Don't forget me when you're famous.
Nah, no chance. Listen, me and you both doing up the media thing. Do you know what I mean? And it's been going well. So it's funny because we was having a conversation. We was like, this Lukaku news is breaking. I wonder if anyone's gonna reach out. And we're both sitting there like, damn, we're still waiting. And then bang, like the next few days, we're both on TV again. So yeah, it was mad.
Oh my god, that's so cool. I'm so happy for you because you deserve it. And I was so happy to see that. And you spoke so well as well.
Appreciate it. I was nervous. I haven't been nervous for anything
really?
for a long time. It's probably been a good couple of years because Premier League, like we've both done that enough times now. You don't really get nervous for it. But like Sky just sitting in the background and knowing that it was aired in the UK, I was like, I know there's gonna be a lot of eyes on this. And I was looking to the side, I was like, oh, this is a bit mad, isn't it?
Oh my god. I always feel like when I'm on Zoom, it helps when you're on Zoom because you're like, I've been on Zoom a million times. And like I'm used to being on camera on StreamYard and I'm used to talking freely on streams, like whatever, it's kind of like, the same feeling. But the first time that I was asked to be on the Premier League, I legit did not sleep the night before. Like I was so nervous because I was like, this is my chance. If I do this well, maybe they invite me on again. Like I was putting so much pressure on myself to do it well. And now I'm just like, okay, like it's fine. Like you go on, just try to speak. Okay, it makes sense, and that's it. But it's always super exciting. When I went in the studio, it was just like, oh my god, this is the set.
Do you know what it is? It's when they're playing the track over when you're listening and you can hear the presenters talking and you can hear the different clips and obviously it's getting closer and closer to you going on. You having to listen to all that. That is what is like building up all the momentum.
The hardest thing for me is like when the producer talks to you and they have the show going on and then you're like, wait, I actually cannot understand what you're saying because I'm hearing like 3 different things at once. Like I don't know how they do it on.
I like that though. That kind of training is cool because commentators get the same thing where they're speaking on a match, but then they've got someone in their ear as well. So it is kind of cool for us to get, because I think even when they're presenting as well, they'll probably have the same thing. They'll probably have the backing track. So when the music's playing and when all of these things are playing, the other segments are going, and then they'll also have the producer in their ear telling them 5 minutes till you're live, 2 minutes till you're live, 1 minute till you're live, etc. So it is kind of good to get used to hearing the producer in your ear while you're also listening to obviously the theme music or whatever's playing as well. So it's good.
It is good. It is good. Yeah. So I'm really happy for you. Hopefully I can get on Sky soon. That's like my bucket list.
No, honestly, that is the pinnacle.
Sky, BBC. That is the pinnacle. I don't know. Like I'm American, so maybe they're like, "What the hell are you doing on here?" Like,
it was a good week. It was a good week.
I'm so happy for you. I'm just like laughing at this comment. Hi, Miko. I mean, thank you for your congrats. I actually reached 10K in like August, and my channel has been growing at a snail's pace since August. So if you guys feel bad for me, please subscribe to my channel because it literally has been growing so incredibly slowly. But thank you for your support and for tuning in. Obviously, I really appreciate it. Hello, Harry Kane. Thanks. It always feels weird saying this, but thanks for tuning in. He watches a lot of my streams. I always like having rival fans on here as well, not just the Chelsea channel, which is really cool. Carlita says, Ellie and Mal back again with the live. My day officially made. Keep up the good work. Thank you. We love to hear it. This stream is going to happen every week at this time, 6:30 my time, 5:30 UK time, whatever time zone you're in, 5:30 UK time, every single Tuesday. So add it to your calendars, turn on notifications. We're always going to be streaming at this time, which is exciting. And obviously now there's not as much to talk about, but we're about to get into like a period of a ton of action as well. So that's going to be mad. But do want to ask you about the, I was gonna say the Liverpool game. No, about the Spurs game. Tomorrow, obviously, we played them in the reverse fixture at Stamford Bridge. We won 2-0. I personally felt that it could have been like a 3 or 4-0 and already put the nail in the coffin. So how confident are you feeling about this game?
It should be done. You're right. The game should be well and truly done at this stage. It's, we should be 3-4, 5-0 up. Tottenham offered absolutely nothing in the first game. They didn't have a shot in the first half. Harry Kane was quiet. Son was quiet. No real adventure shown from that side at all coming forward. We completely dominated. I was worried that we might get overrun in midfield with the pace of Højbjerg, etc., just covering more ground. Obviously, Jorginho and Saul in there, not the quickest of players, but they completely walked him off the park. And I'm looking at this return leg. Yes, it's away from home, but there really should be no worries about our position in the final. We should just be taking this game. Even if it's a boring 0-0, I know it's not what everybody wants to see, but considering we have Manchester City on Saturday lunchtime kickoff, I would take it. I just don't want to see any drama. As long as we control the game. Conte kind of waved the white flag, it seemed, in the first leg after in his post-match comments talking about this is the difference between us and them, why they're winning things and we're not currently.
Very honest.
And
very honest.
The tie is not even over and he's already speaking like that. And I'm seeing a little bit of, as much as we're talking about issues for us injuries-wise and players coming in for wing-back positions, they've also got issues. Obviously, Bergwijn, they're trying to ship off. Dele Alli, they're trying to ship off. So they've got quite a few players in that team that I don't think Conte rates. He's been speaking in the months leading up to the transfer window so much about moving on players, getting rid of, this, that, and the third, and him needing to be backed because he does need a little bit of an overhaul because there's a lot of players in that team that are just not good enough. Even players that they've signed, like Emerson Royale, I'm seeing a lot of Spurs fans criticizing him, and he's a new signing. So obviously, this is the issue with when you bring in Nuno and you bring in Conte a few months later, when really you should have just got Conte in the first place, because now you've got some of maybe Nuno's signings, or I don't know, their new director of football signings, and it's not really alongside with maybe what Conte would have brought in. I don't think Conte would have brought in Emerson Royale, but here we are. So there's a lot of things that are changing at that club, and I think for us, we just need to just get through the game. We got Silva and Kante, who I don't think we need to be using, even though they're just coming back, and then just move into the final, because that's what we're trying to obviously get done. We want to win a trophy at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And speaking of kind of like the players that you want to see starting, we know that we're playing Man City. We just played against Chesterfield, which side note, I absolutely have been loving their Twitter feed recently. Like, they're just so sweet and like grateful for like the reception that they got at Chelsea, and it's really, really cute. But one of the players I wanted to talk to you about was Lewis Hall. He obviously had like a man of the match performance in his debut, which is just super common for these Cobham boys. I shouldn't even be surprised at this point, but of course I was surprised. He looked really good. Do you see him getting a start in this semifinal?
Yeah. It's an interesting one. Obviously, Lewis Hall, 17 years old, had a great debut. In this semi-final, I think just because the tie is not done, I don't think we'll see any starts for young players. We might see them on the bench, but I don't think we'll see a start because the game isn't over. I know a lot of Tottenham fans seem to have conceded and said, listen, it's basically done. But for me personally, I don't think it is. You only have to take a look at Tottenham. As poor as they was in the first leg, they still have Kane, who's back amongst the goals. They still have Son. And it only one goal changes everything. If they get the first goal, then they only need one more, and then suddenly we're under pressure. So if we had maybe beat them the way we should have, which is 3-4, 5-0 in the first leg, we missed a lot of chances. If we had scored the goals we should have scored, then there could have been starts for some of the academy guys, maybe 1 or 2 or 3. But the way that we've left this tie open, sorry, Son's injured is the update there. The way we've left the tie open, I don't think we're gonna be able to play any debuts or anything like that, or even any of the players that played against Chesterfield, young players.
Yeah, and like so finding out now that Son's injured, does that make you feel any more confident for the game? Because personally, I feel like him and Harry Kane are probably their two like most potent like players, like the ones that really can like hit you and make you kind of suffer, and they're the ones who are really getting the goals. But with Son injured, Harry Kane obviously has not been in the form that we're used to seeing Harry Kane in. Does that little piece of information make you feel just a bit more confident for the match?
Yeah, I mean, I was already confident really of us getting the job done. I don't know how comfortable we'll be, but I definitely think we'll get through it regardless. That definitely does help. I think their left-hand side in the first leg was so weak with Doherty running that left wing back, trying to cut inside. They didn't really take advantage of the fact that we had Ziyech at right wing back. I think, you know, if you're gonna see Ziyech at right wing back, you'd want to probably, from an opposition standpoint, put a quick left-footed, expansive left wing back out there who can cross first time with his left foot, stretch the pitch, run at Ziyech, etc. And Doherty was never going to do any of that. He was always checking back in on his right foot, narrowing the pitch, and, you know, just making things a lot easier in transition. So I'd be surprised. I don't know why Reguilon wasn't involved. I don't know if he's maybe not fit or what's happening there. But I'd be surprised if they don't make some sort of switch on that side, because that was just idiotic, if anything. It made no sense. I rate Conte a lot, but that was the one decision I just didn't understand. Even Ben Davies going out there, I know they're struggling for defenders in terms of fitness. You've got their new signing they signed in the summer. He's out injured as well, but you got to find a better solution than Doherty at left wing back, because that guy was just. I mean, Doherty period has been a problem for Tottenham. He hasn't even been that great, let alone put him on his wrong side. It was a disaster. It was great for us, but massive opportunity for them missed, I think.
And something that I thought was really interesting in this game is that I feel like Antonio Conte really prides himself on like his defensive structure, and we saw that at Chelsea, and I feel like we have seen that with Tottenham in a couple of the games that he has been able to implement his system. Obviously, like Conte said, it's going to take like a lot more time to be able to kind of implement exactly how he wants them to play and to have the right players, because right now I feel like they do miss some key players, and they could upgrade in certain positions. But something that I find interesting was like just how easy Chelsea were able to slice through their midfield, to slice through their defense, despite them playing a back five, the way that we were able to create overloads and just open up space completely on the pitch, which is something that I really like to see, because I feel like sometimes we tend to struggle against teams that play five at the back, or that tend to have like really strong defenses, and we made it look so easy. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the thing when I look at us as well is that we still haven't found a solution going forward as how we're going to attack. Obviously, this whole Lukaku thing, he's come back into the team as well. I thought, you know, since he's come back, it's going to be interesting whether he plays against City as well, because his record against the top teams isn't great. Our record last season under Tuchel against the top teams, especially away from home, City, Liverpool, was very good. We won those games. But we still, in attack, we haven't found the right dynamic, the right solution. Obviously, I don't know if you've seen the links with Dembele. that's been today. Yeah, that's been going on today as well. People have been. I personally am not for it. But our attack is just very incomplete. Like like I said, we created a lot of chances in that game. There was almost a free flow Chesterfield. I'm not even going to really count that, because that's against a National League team. We should be creating chances against them. It just is what it is. We should always be creating chances against a team like that. But the amount of traits and characteristics that each individual in that attack is missing is crazy. Like, they all have something, but then they're lacking something else. And I'm just thinking to myself, when are we going to move? Is it going to be the players developing, or are we going to have to get rid of some players and bring in some other ones for us to actually really have a cohesive attack, even when we switch to 4? I still think it's an issue.
Oh, I have so many questions. Okay, let me try not to forget my questions. So first, I want to ask you, you mentioned about Lukaku playing. I was pretty underwhelmed with his performance against Chesterfield. Like, I know that he scored a goal, but I didn't feel that he played as well as I would expect somebody of his caliber to be playing against Chesterfield. And he had a couple of shots. They weren't even on target. And I was just thinking, you expect us to 100% be goals, especially with the amount of shots that we were, the amount of chances that we were creating. And he really had some opportunities put on a plate for him. So what did you make of his performance? And do you see him starting against Spurs, against City? Do you see him fitting into the team in the next couple of games?
I was at the game against Chesterfield. He wasn't great. There was a moment where he ran off the pitch with the ball, decided to dribble it across the touchline. That was mad. I think for me, with him, is that I'd play him against Tottenham, but I wouldn't play him against City. I think City away, we need to go back to what we did last season. We need to have, the front three, counter press, fluidity. It's a game that suits Timo Werner, as we've seen in past encounters in the Cup. Him and Ziyech linked up very well against City. Champions League, we obviously had Kai up front. He scored Mason Mount in that 3 as well. Werner making the space. Any one of those kind of combinations I'll be going with against City at the Etihad. I wouldn't start Lukaku. I'd have Lukaku on the bench. People will say this is what you bought him for. But at the end of the day, like I said, his Big Six record in the Premier League is not great. If anything, he was more there to kill off the smaller teams so we didn't drop points against Everton, against Wolves, teams like that. We should be killing off those type of games. That's really what he's needed, for the big games last season for Chelsea was not an issue. We beat Tottenham away from home, beat Liverpool away from home, beat City 3 times. So that for me is less of an issue. So I wouldn't play him against City. I'd play him against Tottenham. And if I'm honest, there's a big microscope under him. For me as a fan, I'm not really as invested in him as I once was at all. Yes. Nowhere near. There's definitely a sour taste in my mouth now. Every time I think of the player, I just think of the interviews. It's just natural. And unless he comes in the rest of the season, absolutely, rips up the league and starts scoring the goals that we're expecting from him and delivering on that price tag. I've seen links with PSG. I don't know how true that is. Obviously, they need to replace Mbappe. If a team like PSG came in 75, 80 million, I'd honestly take it in the summer at the moment, because I think a lot of the intangibles that he had as a player, he's lost that. I know there were some fans in the section of the Matthew Harden that was singing his name. You're not really going to hear that from me personally. I was always saying that, shouldn't be booing him, but I'm not really going to be singing his name at all. So from a personal standpoint, so I don't know. I'm not really sure where we go from here with this guy. We'll see how the rest of the season goes. Like I said, he's got to do your talking on the pitch. Hasn't done that talking yet. Tottenham game last week, I thought he was okay, but he felt a bit disjointed. The only time he was really involved is when Ziyech was playing very direct passes, which is what we're going to need to do to get him involved. Ziyech put some good balls down the line to him, created an opportunity for Werner, and obviously the cross that he had just wide. Chesterfield again was pretty average, like you say, for someone of his quality and his price point. You don't expect any less than really 2 or 3 goals against a team like Chesterfield. So yeah, I'm not really on the Lukaku train like I was. I'm very much just let's see what happens and act accordingly, I think. But he's got a big second half of the season to go. Massive.
Yeah, I'm in the exact same boat, because I was like super happy for him, and I was like, oh, I really hope that it works out, and he's able to kind of like not revive his Chelsea career, but he did play for us. He didn't do all that much, and he could come back and really show like the type of player that he was. But now when he scored, I was just like, okay, like I just am like so indifferent at this point. And with other players, like you just feel like that connection, because how connected they are to the club. Like a Mason Mount, he bleeds blue. That all the Cobham boys really like like that they know what it means to wear the badge and to play for Chelsea. And after the interview, it's just put sour taste in my mouth. I'm like, okay, move past it. But I just kind of like, I don't know. It's like I could go either way. I'm very, very indifferent at this point. But I totally agree with you against City, especially because like we still don't really know how to play with Lukaku. I feel like I don't know if maybe we know how to get the best out of him, but the system that we play and the system that Tuchel wants to implement contradicts that a bit.
Yeah.
And if so, I'm not sure why they went out and got him if they knew this, because I feel that the Tuchel system is all about pressing and retaining possession and pressing as a unit and creating chances. And I don't necessarily see Lukaku doing that so much. So
the trade-off is weird though, because I think we create more chances when he's not on the pitch, but then we're more clinical when he is on the pitch. So it's like you can either choose to play him and he's the best finisher, so we're going to take more of our chances conversion rate wise, and we've seen that this season. I think he's got 10 goal contributions in maybe 20 games, which is still not really good enough in my opinion for someone who costs 100 million, but it's average. But we know he's the best finisher. But then when he's not on the pitch, we do tend to create more. So because obviously it's just easier to connect the dots. It's much easier to connect the dots when Havertz is up there. We know Havertz is the silkier individual, better for link up play. My whole thing with Lukaku is that I don't really go down the line of the system, because I think first of all, when you cost 100 million and you're at that price point, you should be systemless. And what I mean by systemless is that you shouldn't be relying upon too many things going your way perfectly in a system. You should be able to beat any system. Hazard, when we sat, and this is the difference between top players and just top players, because when you look at Hazard, no one ever spoke about the system. Was the system against him when we played a back three? Was it better for him a back four? Was it better if we played with, a front three or three attacking midfielders and one striker? It never made any difference because the guy was systemless. And that is the difference between top players and players that rely upon a system. And when you come in the door saying that you're multifaceted and you can do anything, then I'm expecting you to be able to do that. So I'm really just holding him to his own words and saying, listen, regardless of the system or whatever formation we're playing, there's still a certain level of output that I'm expecting from you when you cost 100 million and you're as confident as you are in your own ability. So yeah, it should be interesting, because I think if you have to change your whole system for one person, then they better be one of the GOATs, They better be incredible. You don't have to change system for GOATs. That's kind of the point. So we'll see.
You said Hazard and my body was just like, oh, Hazard, thank you so much.
I'm telling you.
I miss that man. Even though he hasn't been the same since he went to Madrid, I still do miss him. But kind of talking about this City game, could Chelsea win this game? And if we do win this game, is there any chance of competing for the title?
I think usually when you go to City, you tend to go there. If you want to win a title, you have to win at City. It's like Man United back in the day. 2 times, the last 2 title wins we've won at City. Ivanovic with the goal for Mourinho in the Mourinho Masterclass, and the 3-1 win under Conte with Willian, Hazard, and Costa with the goals on the break. And I think
I do remember this.
Just these games at City, they're standout games. Like they always stick in my head because it's not easy to go to City and win. I've seen us get slapped at City many a time. We got slapped under Sarri. We lost.
That the 6-0.
Yeah,
loss.
Yeah. So
that was like one of the most painful days I've ever felt.
But we were also slapped under Conte in the second season because we were walking, and they were just passing it past us off the pitch. I think that was 1-0. So that was still a slapping in my opinion, just a different type of slapping. So. Well, the record at City is not easy to since they've obviously had the takeover the last 10 years. It's not easy. So if you go there and win, you're usually a very serious team. And is this team very, very serious? In my opinion, no. There's still a lot of things in this team that they're lacking. Maybe if we had Chilwell, James, and everybody on board and ready, then I would say yeah. But the way that we're currently set out and set up with the players that we have missing, Trev's going to be crawling to get back into that game, but again, it's going to be rushed. I don't think we'll go there and get the win. If we do, we're still 7 points off, and I still personally just don't think we're going to be able to win the title with James and Chilwell out for such a big period. We're not going to bring in players in January that are on their level. It's going to be big drop-offs. Emerson is a drop-off. Dest is a massive drop-off. Whoever else we're linked with.
What do you know about Dest? I'm American, and so people assume that I know about him, but I actually have not seen him play. I should watch La Liga more, but I live in Spain and I don't watch La Liga that much, and I'm American. I actually tried to watch the
You're American. And you're in Spain, and you don't watch the American player in La Liga.
The game, okay. In my defense, like the USA games are at like 3 a.m. my time. So I was so excited. I don't know if I told you this story. I've told it on my channel. I was like so excited to watch the US men's national team. I think it was like a final against Mexico, and I was like getting all ready, and I was like, maybe I'll live stream this. It's at 3 p.m. And then I go into the app, and I was like, wait, what? Why is it saying that it's like today? And then I realized it was like 3 a.m. And I was like, you've got
shut
to be
down.
kidding me.
Yeah. It's especially when you got like work the next day as well. It's like it can't be done. So it is a bit of a headache. I just think with Dest, from all the American fans that I've spoken to, they don't speak particularly highly of him. Like, they say he's got potential, but he's not good on the left. People keep saying he can play both sides. If you can play both sides, then that means you can play both sides to a very good level and there's no issue. And I don't think that exists with him. I think he's more of a right-sided player, and a lefty just kind of just average at best. But I'm hearing a lot. There's a lot of flaws, and if you're going to bring someone in like him mid-season, he's very young. Yes, he's got potential, but how long is it going to take for him to accommodate and acclimatize to the Premier League? Very long. Probably a couple months, really, if we're being realistic. If we're being fair to Dest and not just saying, oh, we come in and just do the business for a young kid moving to the Premier League for the first time. For being fair to him, it's probably going to take him a couple months. We don't have a couple months. We need instant impact. So, if I'm choosing, and many people know that I'm not a massive fan of Adama Traore, I would probably take Adama Traore before Dest, because I think Adama Traore knows the league, knows how to be an impact player. If we're talking about instant impact, he knows exactly all about that. His game is kind of predicated on that. Obviously better on the right, but on the left, he's got the physicality to and the pace to be able to get back and to deal with defenders, even if it's not in the natural defensive tackling ways. Maybe not the best at that, but strength wise, he's been able to barge people off the ball and win the ball back and recover in that way. And it's a target that I think Tuchel had from the summer. So I know Tottenham are interested as well, which is ironic. Obviously Tottenham preview, but I'd take Traore over Dest, to be honest. I don't really see Dest as a player we should be going for mid-season. It doesn't make any sense to me. If you really believe in someone's potential like that, you go and get them in the summer, let them have a full preseason, let them train, don't put them under immediate pressure. Obviously your first choice right wing back is fit, and you just let them ease into the team, which is very similar to what Klopp does. He signed Fabinho, eases them in. Pep signs Cancelo, signs Rodri, eases them in. We're trying to sign someone and expect them to deliver immediately when they haven't been playing in the Premier League this season. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, totally. We have a comment here. We need Premier League proven players for this window. And the thing is, especially like with left back, imagine it was like for a left back position, I would almost be more open to it, but only because Ben Chilwell is going to be out for a really, really, really long time. So the left back position is more of a more long-term solution that we really need to solve. But for right back, like Reece James should be back hopefully in 2 months or so, which
2 months
still
maybe, maybe.
That's still a long time, and it's gonna take him time to get back to match level fitness and to get back to his best as well. But this is like an area that absolutely must be looked at. But I think we need to bring in a left back and a right back, or left wing back and right wing back, however you want to call it, in this window, if we want to try to compete, even for like the FA Cup or something, like a really full, like we need I don't know, we need squad depth in those areas, because you just can't, whoever the player is, Marcus Alonso or not, you can't have one player playing every single game at left wing back, because it's a very taxing position and you're doing a ton of running. It's not the same as playing center back. Let's see what happens in this transfer window. Hopefully we see like some movement in the next couple of days. Glenn says, I heard they want 60 mil that's insane for a temporary solution. I don't know what the quote is, but I will have like a transfer stream on Thursday, so I'll get all the deets then for you guys as well.
60 mil, hilarious.
That's mad. Well, even like that, did you see like Lyon were trying to get like a couple of mil for Emerson, and he's like our player.
Yeah. This is the thing, is that we don't have a recall clause for Emerson because we didn't plan for Emerson to have to come back. We we actually they have an option to buy because we're trying to sell Emerson. I think if Leon had put a price on Emerson in the summer that we had liked, we would have sold him permanently. The only reason why he's still one of our players is because Leon wanted to trial him out first, and then they might pay afterwards. So now we're trying to bring him back because obviously we've got injury concerns. Leon are like, you didn't even want him. So if you're going to take him out mid-loan, by the way, he's been starting for them week in, week out. If you're going to take him out mid-loan and force us to have to go and get a new left back, then you're definitely going to have to pay. So we put ourselves in this situation. I don't think Emerson is particularly all that great anyway. I think he's pretty average. I don't think he's got any outstanding trait that makes him a top player. I think he's just decent in every area. He's maybe he's more fluid than Alonso, easier to link up with. Defensively, average. Going forward, pretty average. Kind of just covers all the bases in a decent way. But, this is the situation. We can't bring in someone maybe permanently because then we'd have 7 left backs on our books in the summer. If we signed, for instance, Digne and Emerson didn't get purchased from Lyon, we'd have Chilwell, Emerson, Alonso, Digne, Baba Rahman, Kennedy, and Ian Maatsen.
I forgot about Baba Rahman and Kennedy. They're still 7. On our books.
Yeah, still on our books. Kennedy's out on loan in Brazil, and Baba Rahman's out on loan at Reading with Drinkwater. So when the summer pre-season starts, Chelsea would have 7 left backs on their books. Currently, we're going to have 6. If we bring Emerson back, we're going to have 6. 3 from the loans and 3 in the first team. So we need to sell 4 of those. I think hopefully some contracts are running out. I don't know. This is why I really hate it when we keep renewing 1-year extensions for these deadwood players, because then they just end up sticking around for longer. But that's ridiculous. Like, to have all of those players. And look, Castello is also there. That's another left back. That's 8, because he was at Ajax, I think. So he's another left-sided player. So that's 8. That's 8. Every single time I do a stream or a show, it just becomes there's just another one. It just keeps popping up.
Super pleased that Chelsea needed to take a hit and pay most of their wages to get rid. I just, like, at this point, it's like, what are you really going to get? Like, it feels like you're not going to make a profit off of them. So why are you holding on to these players? And I think that's Marina's, like her stubbornness is like her strength and her weakness, because then we end up having like all these players on our books that haven't played for years. They end up like Drinkwater is on ridiculous wages. He's on like 100 or 110K a week, which is mad. And then you send the player on loan and hope that the loan club pays for the majority of their wages. But at the price point that he's at, many clubs aren't going to want to do that. So it's crazy. Carlita says, what about trying Saul at left back again? Personally, I'm against it. I can tell you're against it, Missy, so tell us why.
No. He played against Zenit. He played against Zenit and he left Malang Sarr out to dry with just the amount of space he was affording out there. He's only just starting to play decent in midfield now and string together some passes and look confident. Good performance against Tottenham. The only performance, by the way, and I said this with Nini, we said this when we did our show a couple of days ago, the only performance that really deserves real, like, up in arms credit about. The rest of the performance have just been what a footballer is meant to do. Keep possession, pass the ball, keep things ticking. He hasn't done any line-breaking assists. He hasn't had any long shots that have funded into the 30-yard or top corner. He's just been a good footballer, which is, again, what you expect from the academy players when they come through for free, not paying for someone on loan for 5 million. So the standards are on the floor, man. Honestly, like, we're starting to, do dances and start, blowing confetti over some of the most basic performances that we expect from a seasoned international. It's good, but it doesn't mean we should be signing him permanently. And we definitely shouldn't be moving him into a different position because he's only just started to look good in midfield now. Last thing you want to do is move him to left wing back and make him do another role after he's just started to play well now. So, yeah, just leave him where he is.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the key that you said is that he's starting to play well and maybe understand the role and gain more chemistry with the players, so you don't want to like upset that balance that you've created. Superfleet said Aspie can play left wing back. The thing is, like, Aspie as well cannot be playing like every single game. He's also like slowed down. I feel like we've kind of seen a big drop off, unfortunately, in his game. this season, which like literally kills me to say, but it's how you know I'm like super rational and I always kind of say how I see it. But I just don't like he's already what, like 31-ish. I don't think you can really expect him to be playing like right wing back, left wing back. Maybe if it was like right center back, that's not as taxing. I could see it, but it's just like those wing back positions, you have to do so much running. And so maybe he could fill in for a game. The other option is like having the likes of Callum and Pulisic kind of fill in at left wing back, but that's also if you face a team like City, I wouldn't want to play them there because I would want a more defensively minded player. So I think that's kind of like the issue that Chelsea are facing right now. We have like a ton of players on the book, so we don't want to buy anymore. So we're thinking about loaning them, and it's really difficult to get loans sorted, especially during the January transfer window. And it's just
no, 100%. That's what happens when you stockpile. This is like hoarding. You know those programs where you go into the man's basement and he's just got like different chairs from the 1970s and he won't throw away the broken microwave and the cooker. And he's just got all of these different pieces of furniture and shit that he doesn't need. There's straws from McDonald's, cups that he won't dash away because we can reuse this and clean this and we might be able to use it one day. This is what Chelsea do with their players. They just will not let it go. They don't know when to just accept that you've made a mistake, you've cut a loss, and you actually end up making more losses because the longer these guys, no one's gone up in value since they've had all these loans. No one's value's gone up. If anything, it's gone down. I remember when Chelsea could have sold Batshuayi for 40 million to Dortmund when he had the loan, and we asked for 60, and now he's not worth 6. Like, it's just stupidity, honestly. Like, it's just. The guy, we was going to make a profit on him, a small profit, by selling him for 40 to Dortmund because he had an incredible year out in Germany. He scored loads of goals for Dortmund. We wanted 60, and then next thing you know, we can't get 6 million, and where is he at Besiktas or something? And the most valuable thing he's been doing since he's been here is telling jokes on Twitter for us to retweet and like. I can do that. Do you know what I mean? It's just pure stupidity.
Give me his salary, I can do that.
It's just nonsense. It's pure nonsense. It's pure nonsense. We honestly we need to get rid of all these players. I'm sick of it. I don't even care how much we get for them. I know they do, but they need to just accept that they've lost this battle with this 2017 window of players and just let it go.
That window was like the most horrid window that we've ever had. Like that was something else. It really, really was.
Horrendous window.
What do you think about this comment? I'm curious. It says, what has the board been doing since November? Chilwell has been injured for 2 months, and we're still looking into things. Any serious club would have the deal ready first week of Jan. I want to get your thoughts because I know that the club was like hoping that the Chilwell injury also wouldn't be like as serious as it was, and they were like waiting to evaluate whether or not he would need surgery. What do you think about it?
I thought that they would go for Digne. And I thought that would be the deal that they would get done early. But then it seems reportedly Tuchel's not keen. And if Tuchel's not keen, then you don't bring him in. Absolute waste of time bringing in a player that Tuchel doesn't want. So for anyone who did want Digne, from the moment you hear Tuchel's not really that keen, we just have to just put it down. And to be honest, I can understand why. It's not like Digne is this perfect player. He is a little bit injury prone. He has been off the boil for the last 12 to 18 months. He is 28 on big wages. And he is... he isn't the same as Chilwell. He's not exactly like for like. He's got some strengths going forward, good cross on him, good shot on him. But then defensively, he can be a little bit suspect at times. So he's not exactly perfect. He wasn't in my top 3 for options anyway. I much prefer Guerrero, much prefer Goossens, and a couple of others. I'd still even prefer Angelino at RB Leipzig to him. So there's many. I probably got 4 or 5 names that I prefer over Digne anyway. So I think Digne was just maybe the best option you could get in January. But Chelsea have been living off quick fixes and buying players that they haven't really done their due diligence on, and bringing them in and then not really working out. So if Tuchel doesn't want him, then I completely back it. And if he'd rather bring back Emerson, it's annoying because I don't really want to see Emerson here either. But it's better than spending 30 million, 25 million on a new player or more wages, and then that still not being the solution if Tuchel doesn't think it will be. So either way, we're in the mud. And it's because of our own. It's because of our own stupidity in recruitment over the last few years that we're in this situation, and the haggling that we're doing. Someone saying, "Let's bring back Ashley Cole." Honestly, that would probably be the best move. I'll probably be the best. That's probably the best thing. That's probably the best solution I've seen on this one. Best solution I've seen.
That's funny. The thing is, like, I feel that Tuchel has like earned the respect and the ability to say, "Hey, I don't see this player fitting in my team, so please, like, do not go and waste money on him." And like you said, Digne is just it's going to cost 25 to 30 million yet again for a player that Chelsea aren't too keen on. And while it's a longer term solution because Chola is out, I think until probably like September, October of next season, which is devastating. Like, you, at the end of the day, he is going to be a backup, and so you want somebody who you know is going to be playing backup. I do feel like we need to bring somebody in, because I personally would prefer not to have like Alonso or Emerson as that backup role for the long future, but maybe an academy player can also fill that. So you don't need to be going and spending like big bucks. The positive to Emerson is that like Tuchel kind of already knows him, so there's not going to be like that big adaptation period of like trying to figure out how he plays and his strengths and his weaknesses. Tuchel already knows all of this. He knows how he fits into the team. He knows how to coach him. He knows what the Premier League is like. And I think it was 2 seasons ago, or maybe even last season, like there was a point where maybe Chilwell was injured, and so we only had the option of Alonso or Emerson. I was like very impartial. I was like, you could put whoever. Like, I really don't have an opinion about this, because I think they're more or less like going forward they're okay, and then defensively they're weaker, and of course I prefer Chilwell. But I don't know. I can understand Tuchel's reasoning at least. But let's see. Yeah, the weekly update says, I also prefer Emerson over Digne, but why are we doing this nearly 2 weeks into Jan? Did Tuchel only say no to Digne now? It's like confusion. I mean, the thing is, like, we also don't know what's going on behind the scenes, and we can speculate as much as we want, or we can try to rely on reports, but we don't always know exactly what's been happening. And I understand that the Lyon deal, like Matisse said, is like really complicated. You have to think in January, it's always super complicated to get players to join, because you're trying to get them to leave the club that they've been playing for, and that club isn't going to want them to leave because they're still going to have things that they want to try to achieve. So unless they're like really out on the skirts and they're not in the team and they really want to leave and it's a good price, like, it's very, very difficult to make these January changes. And for Leon, Emerson is a starter, so they're of course going to be like, no, we don't want him to leave. If he does leave, we need to find a backup first before we even allow him to leave. And so you're waiting on them to do that, and so you have to agree everything, and everything's just so difficult in January. So I'm personally like not surprised that it's taking long. I wouldn't be surprised if we see this drag out a bit. Personally, I hope that it doesn't, for our sake, because we need players in ASAP. But I don't know. I have a hard time judging, because I just feel like January historically is very difficult to get a new transfer done.
Yeah, I mean, it's very rare we've actually done good business in January. I remember the Fernando Torres signing. We broke the record for that one. That didn't work. And a lot of Liverpool fans, funny enough, already said it wasn't going to work. They were like, listen, he's just picked up an injury. We can see the decline coming. But if you want to buy him for 50 million, go ahead. I love Fernando Torres at Liverpool. I thought he was brilliant. I obviously as a player, I preferred him at Liverpool than at Chelsea. He was so good at Liverpool. But they could see that coming. We signed Gary Cahill. That was a good buy. Again, Premier League proven. Premier League experience, short-term impact. We knew we was going to get someone that already was familiar with his surroundings and not trying to acclimatize. I think we signed David Luiz as well from, I think it was Benfica maybe in January as well. I'm not sure. I think that was one of those as well. But not too many, not too many great deals that I can think of and remember. Dembele to Chelsea. Listen. I'm about to put out a video on that, and it's not nice. Oh man, it's not nice.
It's so funny. Well, make sure we'll be on your channel.
It will be, yeah. It'll be coming out on YouTube very soon. I'm not impressed. I haven't tweeted about it. As soon as I seen it, I said, you know what? I'm not even going to tweet about this. I'm just going to just leave this. I'll talk about this because I need to speak at length on this one. If you've, I need to speak at length on this
for however many character tweet is allowed. Somebody in the comments said like, you know, there's other teams like Liverpool found Tsimikas for like 10 million. I think like Cancelo was also cheap-ish considering the price of transfers nowadays. So it feels like a lot of these really top teams are finding these quality players that turn into be like, well, not Tsimikas too early to say, but Cancelo like world class in my opinion for relatively cheap. So why isn't that happening at Chelsea?
Because we can't scout. I mean, we don't know how to look for players. Clearly, we're just, you know, going off names or going off goals and assists last season, but we don't actually know how to scout a player when we need a certain profile. Chelsea, we look at the name. This is why, as much as listen, Declan Rice is a great player, we shouldn't be having this massive obsession over one name. We should be saying this is the profile we need, and getting a good list of players that can fit that profile. You look at Tsimikas. I keep using this example. Liverpool, we need a left back. Why is it only Lucas Digne that we're looking at? Why have we not gone to Tuchel with other options? Take aside all of the players that we have already on the books, but just from a pure scouting perspective, why do we not have other left backs on our radar? Why can Liverpool go and get Tsimikas from Olympiacos for 12 million and we can't find someone like that? Why were we able to get Azpilicueta from Marseille, you know, Malouda from Lyon, all of these good purchases that we managed to make for not too much money, even at the time? Because Azpilicueta, you know, in any era, you know, that's a very cheap fee to pay. And recently, we can't seem to do that. It's because we don't have the scouts. It's as simple as that. You know, when Michael Limonalo was here, look how many players we brought in of a high level at one period of time. In one period of time, we brought in De Bruyne, Mohamed Salah, players with potential, Hazard, Courtois, Lukaku. I think we brought in that was just after the Champions League win. So I think Oscar obviously would have come in.
Did we ever replace his position like officially?
I think Marina stepped up into that role, but she's obviously not the same type of person. She's not a scout. She's not a recruiter. And I think maybe we're over relying on our scouts, some of our other scouts, to do this job, and they're obviously failing. So we need to rip it up a bit and start again, I think, because you look at Leicester scouting, you look at Liverpool scouting, you look at
Leicester scouting,
these other clubs. You know, you look at Leicester. You know, they bring in Kante, they bring in Didi to replace Kante, no problems. Mahrez comes in. You know, it's ridiculous, and we don't have anything on this level. If we had the scouts of Leicester with the money we have, it would be
rolling.
It would be ridiculous. Yeah, it would be mad. Yep. Look at Fofana. Fofana went there. Everybody had their eyes on other players. They had their eyes on Upamecano and players like that. And next thing you know, it's Fofana that does bits in his first season. He's barely just older than a teenager. So yeah, it's crazy.
Crazy. So true. I want to get to a couple more questions before we leave. Gustavo said, what do you think about the Club World Cup in February? I honestly like I forgot that this was happening. We just have so many things in the books, and now we're going to have a Club World Cup. You see us winning it?
Yeah, we should win it. There should be absolutely no problem with that. If we don't win that, it'll be just as embarrassing as last time. We have to win that trophy, honestly. We have to win that trophy. I think it's the last one off the list as well for Azpilicueta, so we have to get that done.
Aww. I hope that we win it for him then. I really, really do. Let's see.
As well. Yeah.
Let's see. Before I leave, I want to get your opinion. What did you think about the club false positive?
You know, Liverpool fans, they're all over the place clipping people up and
don't say anything that you'll regret.
Yeah, well, I've only just come out of a little kerfuffle over this last week, and it's funny because what I was joking about is now being investigated. So it's hilarious. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Tuchel obviously backed Klopp, which was nice in the presser. No need for him to get involved in the drama. Mathematically, the maths is not mathing. That's all I'm going to say. Mathematically, the maths is not mathing. But let's see how it goes. Let's see what the investigation brings. Doesn't bother me. Doesn't affect me. We're playing Tottenham. Luckily, we're not playing them. So that's for Arsenal to deal with. And let's see what the outcome is. But it's a bit of a madness. It's a fugazi.
It is a bit of a madness for sure. Well, guys, we've hit like around 50 minutes. It's getting late over here. I need to make dinner. There's almost 100 of you watching, so make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed, please. It helps me out a lot. And I also have some really cool guests lined up for the rest of the month. So I'm super excited about that. And yeah, just like any little support that you show, I know it sounds stupid, but like liking and commenting really helps other people to find my channel. And I really appreciate it. And yeah, you can have my socials. I changed my Instagram. There's no underscore anymore, so that it's the same as TikTok. I have to change that. But yeah, follow me on socials and make sure to subscribe to Matisse. But Matisse, let everybody know where they can find you in case they don't know.
Yeah, MAH. Very simple to type in on YouTube. Check it out. New video coming in the next probably hour or so. And for me, obviously, Tottenham, that's the next game. I'm going to be making some changes on that channel as well. So the lives that you guys have been enjoying, they're about to come to an end and fully move to Twitch. I did speak about that a few months ago. So, brace yourselves for impact on that one. But listen, the lives will still be there. They'll just be on Twitch, sorry. And then it will just be strictly videos and premieres on YouTube. So watch-alongs are going to move to Twitch at the start of March, I think. Maybe a bit sooner. London Clubs Carnage will be premiered. So the next few watch-alongs, the next few live shows, definitely enjoy them. And if you want to see more, then check out Twitch. Same at Matisse Armani on Twitch. And the Twitch is about to take off with loads of live shows. So yeah.
Yeah, and we have my screen just like completely restarted. We have a live show every Monday on Twitch on Matisse's channel, so you can watch us You can watch us twice a week, once on his channel and once on mine. How lucky you guys are! But guys, thanks so much for spending the evening with us. I hope that you enjoyed this stream. I'm really excited to have like loads more to talk about. We're gonna have so much to talk about next week, Matisse. But yeah, thanks guys. Yeah, I know, me too. I'm really looking forward to it because as much as I love the FA Cup, I'm like really, I'm probably going to be super depressed if things go poorly against City. But let's see. You guys know I try to keep the channel as positive as possible. But guys, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you same time, same place next Tuesday. Bye.
Yeah,